What is something Hollywood will never understand? That some movies do not need to be remade. What it's actually like to be poor. Ever seen La La Land? Ryan Gosling's character starts out poor, basically just meaning he has a large, rustic apartment with just okay natural lighting and minimal decoration. I saw a movie where a cop was taking money from crime scenes because his family couldn't make ends meet. Cut to his 4-bedroom, 2-story house that looked straight out of a magazine. That it's rude as hell and wasteful to have a singular bite of toast and then leave out the door. When your wife slaved over making an entire plate of bacon and eggs for your ungrateful ass. Teenagers aren't 30, that explosions are worse than they look, no one is destined for greatness. Teenagers looking like 30-year-olds are bad. But teenagers talking like 30-year-old are worse. Teenagers aren't that articulate. If someone gets knocked out by a punch in the face, that's probably a traumatic brain injury. How the internet works. Also, hacking. *Me looks around for picture of dog. Finds dog with nameplate. Proceeds to hack the password. Sparky *. Asian men aren't these asexual robotic creatures. There are more Asian people on the planet than all the other races combined. They had to have had some sex to accomplish that. Sibling relationships. I don't think I've ever heard anyone seriously call their sibling big sis or little bro on the regular. Yeah right, as if you never go on Pornhub. This always annoyed me as a weak example of exposition. Listen little brother, I know it's been hard since mom died. Especially for dad. Well, thanks for shovel feeding everything through this weak-ass dialogue. Age-appropriate relationships. Like in the movie Call Me By Your Name, where the main relationship is between a 17 and a 24-year-old. Surfing. As a surfer, I've seen one movie about surfing that I thought was fairly accurate. And that was Surf's Up. Yay, that movie about penguins surfing. Hollywood always tries to do that dumb shit about making surfing something spiritual, and being in touch with nature, and close to God, and all that sappy corny bullshit. The truth is, the sport really isn't great for nature. It tends to be violently territorial. It's actually really bad for the environment, and at times it can be fucking terrifying. I've come close to dying more times than I can count. The kind of people in the surf community that like to get all spiritual and shit like that tend to be laughed at and looked down upon. Unless they're really good. Most of us don't do it for that crap. We just do it because it's fun as hell and it's a great workout. History. History is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules. Bad anime don't need live-action adaptations. Nor do Disney movies. At least Avatar has followed this so far. I dread the day someone attempts a live-action movie. Love is not enough to make a relationship work. 100 Days of Summer and Marriage Story get this right. Not all gay people are flamboyant. I mean, Raymond Holt though. Or clever and fierce all the time. A lot to do with mental health and illnesses. So much of the time Hollywood does not do their research past reading the wiki article. Personally, I think they especially have a hard time getting autism right. So much of Hollywood forgets that autism is a spectrum of different disorders and not just one thing. I also do have autism, so that is probably why I crave good representation. What I would love to see is a story with multiple characters on the spectrum that are not all like the same person and maybe have different types of autism. Monsieur. For real. It's always the Rain Man style. Genius with numbers. Social misfit type autism in these shows. Not all Asians are tech geeks, martial artists. I'm Korean and I'm neither of those. Just because we don't speak up doesn't mean we enjoy the stereotypes. But all Koreans are either Pro League or StarCraft players, right? Even your grandma. StarCraft is fading in Korea, I think. Almost none of my Korean students have played it or even know what it is. Occasionally some know about it, but again, never played it. One bullet to the torso doesn't make someone go AAARRGHH then immediately drop dead. I've seen enough shit on Lively to back up my statement. Hold up there. Let us not forget that they believe the opposite when it comes to the protagonist. Protagonists can get shot in the shoulder as much as they want and keep going the rest of the movie. No problem, monsieur. Modern cars don't squeal every time you hit the gas or brakes, even when you are in a hurry. As a huge car guy, this so much shit drives me crazy. Cars don't immediately explode when you shoot them with a gun. Most cars don't explode at all. They made fun of it in South Park when an 8-year-old dove off his big wheel pedal tricycle and it flew off the cliff and exploded at the bottom. Monsieur, read the fucking book. Read the book before you film it. No artistic changes that make huge leaps from the canon character world. Harry, did y'all put your name in the goblet of fire? He said calmly. Exactly. Every single time, Hollywood decides it knows better than the source material their movie suffers for it. Be that making Superman a mopey git, adding a romantic subplot to The Hobbit, making a lovable side character into a useless comedy vehicle, or adding incoherent nonsense into the story. The established source material is worth adapting because it's popular. It's popular because people like it as it is. I can respect filming limitations means some things can't be faithful and others can't be shown. But the goal should always be sticking to the source as closely as possible. Netflix are apparently making Avatar: The Last Airbender into a live-action series. As live-action has never been attempted on this property before, I firmly believe they should include as many fans as possible in the design stage. Letting us see Sonic's design led to some constructive criticism among the outcry. And they fixed it? Letting fans know the problems you're having with a faithful adaptation would be using the best resource any artist could ask for. Free unlimited creative solutions. Cries in Artemis Fowl. World War Z anyone? God, what a disappointment that movie was. People don't fall in love after a day and a half. I don't need that main character romance if it's gonna be there just to check the box. Almost every romantic relationship in movies feels unnecessary or forced. Leads declaring their love for the characters they've only known for a day is no less tedious than leads falling for someone in another relationship only to discover their partner is somehow evil. Anyway, oh, and you can't date everyone you find attractive. Just because you think they're hot doesn't mean that enough needy behavior will make them realize they actually have feelings for you deep down. Waitresses cannot afford 1,500 square foot apartments in Manhattan. Removing a woman's glasses and letting her hair down doesn't immediately make her attractive. Love it when they take a supermodel with perfect skin, facial symmetry, and bone structure and put big glasses on her to make her look ugly. People say goodbye before they hang up. That being a celebrity doesn't automatically make your opinions matter. There's plenty of male audience members who don't see the generic blonde model with big breasts as the ultimately desirable woman that the male protagonist has to sacrifice everything for. At least mix it up a bit. I want to root for the guy as well. So make her a petite brunette flat-chested cutie. That was one of the things I liked about the original Total Recall. The blonde character turned out to be the villain and the brunette was the heroine. Till then, I hadn't realized how often blonde equals angel. That's more because Hollywood likes to cast blondes to play the villains or the love interests. If a female is the main character, she'll usually be brunette. If she's a villain or the love interest, then she'll be blonde. Hacking is not done in a matter of seconds. Please ignore this comment. NSA people. Type 1 diabetes. You do not take insulin when your blood sugar is low, you will die. Computers and IT in general, especially encryption. Only one time I want to hear the nerd say, "Sorry boss, we can't get the info from the computer. Its hard disk is encrypted." No, I can't just hack it. That's not possible. There is more to the USA than LA and NYC. Of course, there's also San Francisco, and occasionally a party scene in Vegas. What the audience wants. It's not superheroes and comic books. That's some of it but not all of it. The problem is that studio people are like lemmings. If one person does one thing and it works, they all start doing that thing and only that thing. So all we get anymore is remakes, sequels, and endless superhero movies, when a lot of people want to see something new and original. I work in Hollywood. The system is broken. It's excruciating trying to get a new idea through to these people. Greater than I work in Hollywood. Doesn't that mean you don't know what audiences want? Oh shit, got monsieur. I've talked about this before. Because it pisses me off how so many movies and TV shows have the trope of cutting the palm of your hand when blood is needed for some sort of ritual. It originated because it was an easy place for them to hide a blood packet back when special effects weren't what they are today. But I don't think Hollywood will evolve from that. It's so dumb though, because if you've ever had a cut on the palm of your hand, you would know that's a terrible place to make a wound. It's such an awkward injury and you pretty much lose the use of that hand. Plus it can take a while to heal. There are much better places to draw blood from. Yet we still see it all the time. And on top of that, the characters are fine in the scenes after, or in the case of shows like Supernatural and The 100. They are making fists and fighting with no problem, monsieur. Girls get periods. Suppressors don't silence. Guns are loud as fuck. It only suppresses the sound, not make it so that you can murder everyone in a building without a guard batting an eyelid. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That just because you're famous doesn't mean you are qualified to give life advice, political advice, any kind of everyday normal advice. You're so distanced from the everyday person that you don't really know how they think. That, if you attempt to create a movie out of a well-received book, which is part of a series, you don't start the movie by cutting away 50% of the first book. Especially not the character building. The movie Eragon has many flaws and wrong decisions were made, but damn, that was the worst. The Inheritance Cycle was my favorite book series growing up, and seeing how they massacred the plot line and characters and pretty much everything in the story made me really upset. Almost all of Hollywood consists rich, privileged people who have no idea what it's like to be an average citizen. They should stay out of politics. Michael Bay should only be allowed to direct movies about the Power Rangers. The age of consent. Being introverted is not a character flaw that does not need to be overcome. Holding a sword upside down is not an effective fighting style. Arrow quivers were never made to go on your back, and it's nigh impossible to hit something with a sidearm while running. Where were quivers meant to go? On your hip. Also, military archers didn't really use quivers the way we usually see them, monsieur. They used bags with frames inside, designed to hold the arrows away from each other and prevent damage to the flights on the arrows. Relationships are not rom-coms. Normal humans won't leave unscreened front doors wide open when entering homes. Beautiful 20-year-old women don't usually date creepy older men. Parents are not all idiots. Women don't go to bed in full makeup. Coffee cups usually have coffee in them, monsieur. If you move in a small town, the perfect mate is not usually there waiting for you. All those Hallmark movies. What do you mean? I just spent 30 minutes putting my face on, slipping into my matching silk pajamas and got into my huge king-size bed covered in 30 pillows in a special spot for my dogs so we can commiserate about me being so single and him being neutered. I don't know about, but the next morning I wake up with a fresh face and beautiful silky hair. The perfect wardrobe is already planned and I'm ready to work on my feet all day wearing those beautiful stilettos shoes. After work I have time to go out with my all good-looking friends wearing a different wonderful outfit, still wearing high heels. Because I have feet made of steel. Guns don't magically reload themselves and bullets actually run out. That the people from Hollywood may have more of a voice or platform than the rest of us? Yet they are no more intelligent than the rest of us? The actual culture and lifestyle of the Midwest, with the exception of John Hughes Productions, Hollywood has seemed to greatly struggle with understanding how to depict life in any American city or region that doesn't sit against an ocean. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.